Okay guys, just to cut down on some of the time in these videos, I'm just going to go straight from editable poly mode. As you can see down here, a little box, I've already changed it, and as you know my workspace is set out like this. Right, I'm just going to zip through a few of the tools we looked at in depth last week, because you all seem pretty clued in with those. So I'm going to hit 4, or just click polygon over there, select the face, and the next one we're going to look at is the inset tool. I'm just going to use these settings because it gives a better view of what's going to happen. And as you see, that starts to almost inset the face. It makes a smaller polygon out of the existing one and builds some nice clean geometry around the outside. Once I've done that, if I hop over into move, I then have control over all these different faces, which I can then start to edit, and I can even start insetting those, but as you can see that's created a lot of problems, so you have to be careful when you're using any tools in here. But I can, however, start to extrude out and combining the shapes like that. Okay. The next one I believe we looked at was chamfer, which if I remember correctly, I'll just pop down into, make sure you're in edge mode, sorry, which is 2, or that box there. And then if we click on settings, this is how we start to get edges on our objects. And we had two options we were using, which is sort of like the distance of the edge. If I just spin around here, if I'm creating a small edge, it doesn't look too bad, but if I'm making a larger one, I'm going to start wanting to add in more connections to make the edge smoother, like so. Okay, one of the things we noticed last time, if I just add a few in, is that this does create what we call n-gons, which are basically polygons with more than 3 sides, so they're not a tri and they're not a quad. And we looked at a tool to fix that. So if I just press 1 to hop over into vertex mode, I can start using connect, which, as we saw before, we can select one point, hold down control, which is add, and then if we just pop over to our edit vertices and hit connect, this starts to join them up. And what we do is we just keep going like that, and essentially we're just building in some more lines, more geometry to make this ready for a game engine. And we also had another way of doing that called cut. So if I hop over to here and hit cut, this one's a little more, you have to be a little more precise with it. As we said like last time, when you hover over a line or an edge, it turns into this sort of elongated plus. If you hover over a vertex, it's a small little crosshair, and over a face it's a square. And if you're not selecting the model, it's just an arrow. So all we're going to do is click on the face, the vertex, sorry, and as you can see it starts to map out a line for me. And to make sure I'm in the right place, I have to make sure it goes back to the little crosshair. If I click, that joins them up. But as you can see, it's still trying to draw lines, and we just right click to get rid of that. And all we're doing is just repeating that process and making sure we're being very accurate. And then after that, if I just hop back over to face mode, make sure you deselect your tool, remember, by right clicking. All of these faces are now built in, and this model is ready for use in a game. Obviously if we did the same to the back tool as well. I'm going to leave that one here, just make sure the video is not too long, and we'll have a look at a couple of the tools we looked at right at the end, but didn't really go into a lot of detail with.